Static fades, I twist the knob, the shack comes alive, this is my job. LEDs glow, antennas high, another night beneath the sky. I'm calling out, hear that tone, across the globe I'm not alone. The net's alive and I'm checking in, let the conversation begin. We're at the amateur radio roundtable, we're all plugged in, solid and stable. W5KUB's calling loud and proud, spinning stories through the static cloud. From KW5GP to WI7BG, we're rocking the bands wild and free. Hey, Glenn's got mods on a breadboard bass, Brett's breaking news from a distant place. Tom's at the helm like a seasoned vet, streaming it live on the internet. Antenna swing, the skip is long, we're singing the ham radio song. Spin that dial, let's catch some heat, 40 meters never felt so sweet. But at the amateur radio roundtable, with coax lines and power cables, Deeks, petitions, QSLs, we got more ham than a southern belle. From KW5GP to WI7BG, we're working the world wild and free. Well, yeah, rockin' worldwide. Mic in hand and a call sign, pride. Oh yeah, the amateur radio roundtable, story strong and signal stable. So key it up and call your name in this wild RF Hall of Fame. From KW5GP to you and me, we're hamming hard 7 to 3. CQ out. Hamming hard 7-3. Da, 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 out. Do 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 do, CQ on the air tonight. The round table's lit and the signal's tight. But static fades, I twist the knob, the shack comes alive, this is my job. LEDs glow, antennas. Do 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 do, CQ on the air tonight. The round table's lit and the signal's tight. But static fades, I twist the knob, the shack comes alive, this is my job. LEDs glow, antennas high, another night beneath the sky. I'm calling out, hear that tone, across the globe I'm not alone. The net's alive and I'm checking in, let the conversation begin. More at the amateur radio roundtable, we're all plugged in, solid and stable. W5QB's calling loud and proud, spinning stories through the static cloud. From KW5GP to 2WI7BG, we're working the bands wild and free. Glenn's got mods on a breadboard bass, Brett's breaking news from a distant place. Tom's at the helm like a seasoned vet, streaming it live on the internet. Antenna swing, the skip is long, we're singing the ham radio song. Spin that dial, let's catch some heat, 40 meters never felt so sweet. Oh, at the amateur radio roundtable, with coax lines and power cables, Dawn's editions, QSLs, we got more ham than a southern belle. From KW5GP to WI7BG, we're working the world wild and free. da 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 da. CQ out. Oh, now the amateur radio roundtable. Stories strong and signals stable. So key it up and call your name in this wild RF Hall of Fame. From KU5GP to you and me, we're hemming hard. 7-3. CQ out. High above the heartland, just past the dawn, a whisper in the static says it's time to carry on. From the banks of the Arkansas, we light the spark anew. With W5KUB119, the skies are calling true. She's dancing with the jet stream, chasing solar light, a patchwork earth below her, glowing in the night. Storm clouds try to hold her, but she just laughs and glides over oceans, over mountains, with the wind as her guide. It's time to start the party, let the beacon sing around the world again on hydrogen wings. How many more laps? Nobody can say, but the Arkansas River Valley Amateur Radio Foundation is cheering all the way. Oh, W5KUB119 keeps soaring so free, skimming over storm clouds like a ghost in the breeze. Pings from distant stations bouncing through the sky, a network of believers tuning in to fly. We watch her cross the dateline, drifting over Rome. With every pass she makes, she's sending signals home. From Tokyo to Rio, from ice to desert sand, she's stitching lines of wonder with an unseen hand. The world spins beneath her, but she's got her own race, a silent silver wanderer in near space grace. It's time to start the party, let the beacon sing around the world again on hydrogen wings. How many more laps? Nobody can say, but the ARF is cheering all the way. Oh, W5KUB119 keeps soaring so free, skimming over storm clouds like a ghost in the breeze. She's not just a balloon, she's a dream we let fly, a whisper up of Arkansas, up in the sky. And every pass she makes above our silent towns reminds us all that wonder never touches down. So start the celebration, light the skies with cheer. Another lap completed, the signal's loud and clear. How many more laps? Well, time will unfold, but every circuit's written in the stories we've told. Oh, W5KUB119 for wild and high, with the Arkansas River dreamers waving you by, skimming over storm clouds lost in the blue. W5KUB119, the world's watching you. High above the heartland, just past the dawn, a whisper in the static says it's time to carry on. From the banks of the Arkansas, we light the spark anew. With W5KUB 119, the skies are calling true. She's dancing with the jet stream, chasing solar light. A patchwork earth below her, glowing in the night. Storm clouds try to hold her, but she just laughs and glides over oceans, over mountains, with the wind as her guide. It's time to start the party, let the beacon sing. Around the world again on hydrogen wings. How many more laps, nobody can say. But the Arkansas River Valley Amateur Radio Foundation is cheering all the way. Oh, W5KUB 119 keeps soaring so free, skimming over storm clouds like a ghost in the breeze. Just back to dawn. Carry on. Beams from distant stations bouncing through the sky. A network of believers tuning in to fly. We watch across the dateline, drifting over Rome. With every pass she makes, she's sending signals home. From Tokyo to Rio, from ice to desert sand, she's stitching lines of wonder with an unseen hand. The world spins beneath her, but she's got her own race. A silent silver wanderer in near space grace. It's time to start the party, let the beacon sing. Around the world again on hydrogen wings. How many more laps, nobody can say. But the ARVARF is cheering all the way. Oh, W5KUB 119 keeps soaring so free, skimming over storm clouds like a ghost in the breeze. She's not just a balloon, she's a dream we let fly. A whisper of Arkansas up in the sky. And every pass she makes above our silent towns reminds us all that wonder never touches down. So start the celebration like the
I'm here.
Hello, you are there, and I'm here.
Do you have audio? Can you hear me?
Dreamers waving you by.
Hey, Tom, they say you've got no audio and I've got very loud audio.
Okay, I should have audio now. The mic is
You
turned
do.
on. Okay.
It's lower than the music.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. I can't remember if the mic switch goes forwards or backwards.
Huh.
Yeah, that ought to help a little bit.
Yeah, they're saying your audio's a little echoey.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure
Let me look up something.
where they come from. I've got 3 monitors on looking at X, Facebook, and YouTube, but the speaker is muted. Oh, you know what? You know what? Even though I muted the speaker, it's still got that audio connection across vMix. Let me mute it and see if that does it. Let's see. Okay. That's an audio off there. Ah. Okay, I bet you that turned the echo off, didn't it? Anybody can tell me? Did the echo go away?
I think it's still there.
Oh, come on.
Yep, Mark says it's still there.
All right, let's see. Okay, that laptop is off. All right, let me try something else here. Audio, laptop. That was off. They're all off. Maybe it's one of the cameras. Let me check.
Oh, that's something I need to look at too, yeah.
It may be one of the Test. Let's see.
No.
Oh, that was off. Okay. It says the audio is off everywhere else. How bad is it?
It's a nuisance.
Is it?
Yeah.
I twist the knob, the shack comes alive, this is my job.
Let me do something. I'm gonna mute this mic.
Another night beneath the sky, I'm calling out, hear that tone across the globe, I'm not alone, the net's alive
Let's do
and
some
I'm
testing
checking
here real
in,
quick.
let the conversation begin. More at the amateur radio.
Okay, my audio is at the right source even. Okay.
So I'm echoey right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me turn the speaker down.
Yes.
I'm not using earphone. Let me turn the speaker down. All right, test 1, 2, 3, 4. And the speaker's turned down. Am I still echoing?
Yes.
Okay. 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 Audio microphone. Test. Test 1, 2, 3. Ah, am I echoing now?
No, what did you do?
I turned off an audio microphone input on the mixer. I have no idea where it came from because that's, oh, you know what? The other day, I couldn't find the audio input in the mixer. So I created another one, and I think that may have created two. I may have had two inputs. So it's sounding better now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to,
All right, they want your audio level to come up.
okay. I'm gonna kill this one. I don't think I'll lose myself, but I'm going to kill this one. All right, test one. Okay, I'm still there. I killed that mic input. Okay, there we go. Now I'll bring my level up. Audio microphone. Let's see. Audio microphone. Test 1, 2. All right, let's see. Roundtable, Icom. I'll show you guys later on the show. I'm gonna talk a little about vMix tonight toward the end of the show.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Look who we got for the pre-show.
Yeah, I see that. Is that new?
No, that's the big boy, Sasquatch.
That's not normally one we see.
No, that's normally Rodan that you get to see. Shadow.
Yeah. Okay. Let me crank that up a little. Is my audio a little bit better now? Maybe that I got the mic too far away.
Yeah,
audio
it's
now?
better. But let somebody online tell you because they can
Yeah.
compare between you and me.
Okay, test 1, 2, 3. Does my audio need to
What?
come up more?
There you go. Oh, gosh, he's getting heavier and heavier. Said your audio is much.
Well, that was an old one. You go pick from a shack. Yeah, Tom's audio is always lower. Okay, how is it now? Is it still real low? Okay, still much lower. Okay.
I'm going to say it's much lower. Yes.
All right. Let me do this. Let me turn it up a little bit right here. Test. 1, 2, 3, 4.
There
Well,
you go.
I'm almost hearing the echo now.
Yeah, I'm
because-
almost hearing it.
Because I've got.
Check.
Hey there, who's that? Is that there? There's Britt. Okay. Well,
Yeah, but he's behind black screen.
Yeah, there's a big black box in front of
I
me.
can fix that. Let me fix that.
Well, that's because you got a face for radio, Brett.
That's right. Let me fix that.
Yep.
Real quick. I'll fix that. Let's see. I got to go to position. I got to go to virtual call. And I got to, limit.
Yeah, Mark P. and everyone else is saying, don't touch nothing.
Don't touch nothing. Okay, let's see. Oh, Brett in there.
They
I guess.
like where I look better this way, huh? Okay.
There you go.
All right, I got you
Okay.
in there. Let's see. Where's my?
Make myself a little smaller. There we go.
Let's do that. What is that? That's not what I wanted. Yeah, it is. Okay, and let me put something down there. And let's see. Not sure I got the right shot picked. Let me check. Right there.
I picked up some treasures this weekend.
Well, let's talk about it in a minute.
Cool.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to talk about the beginning or later on. But...
Yeah, we'll get them probably up front. Let's see. I got to figure out laptop 2. I got to get a laptop 2.
Yeah.
What was that for?
Laptop 2. There we go. There we go. There we go. Ooh, that's kind of big. All right. Let's see. Oh, cool. Cool. I hear some CW, but I'm busy right here. Let's see. Do that. Let's go to position. Let's go to
Yeah, it's not fast enough. I copied it.
laptop.
Oh yeah. No, I'm doing 5 words per minute here.
Yeah, that's about my limit.
It's just like riding a bicycle, man, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Are you 1-1? Are you 1-1?
Let's see. I see a Balin or two.
I was looking at what
Balin and an Unun.
Unu.
Yep.
1-1 and
Unknown.
Well, while we're doing show and tell,
yeah.
There you go.
Let's see. Show me again. I didn't see it. Show me.
But this one,
Does that go in your furnace?
no, this is a piece of ham gear.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Man, I got my volume up here so high now, I probably need to wear earphones because I hear myself coming out the speaker. But I think people saying it sounds better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you still got that echo, the new echo just at the bottom end.
Well, if I turn it down, now it probably went away, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just that's feedback to the speakers here in the shack. Oh man, we got 5 minutes. I got time for another one of these.
Oh, there you go.
All right, let's see what we got here. All right. Look at what I got tonight. That's all you get to see.
Caffeine tuned radio.
That's all you get to see. Hey, 6 meters is open. I listened to it a few minutes ago before the show. From here, New Jersey, that area was coming in. I understood about an hour earlier, Europe was coming in on 6 meters.
Oh, man.
I used to love working 6 meters back in the early 60s.
I'd say it's been about 10 years, but there was this tremendous 6-meter opening that Tim Billingsley and I tracked from the East Coast to the West Coast with our beams, working everybody along the way. That was some of the best 3 and 4 hours I've ever had.
Yeah.
Was that like Gray Line or?
Yeah. Well, it was Gray Line and 6.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really amazing.
Back when I worked 6, back in the early 60s, it was AM.
Yeah.
Yeah, at field day, I usually show up at the site right around dusk because I know that gray line propagation is going to be good. Around here, it's great.
That's normally about the time I get on, and then I work the whole night shift doing it over on 40. But I much prefer 20.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what do you got tonight, Brett? You got the...
Well, I can show some of my finds at the Trunkfest that they did
that's
in
right.
Cheyenne
They
this
had
last
Hamfest.
weekend.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, they had a sort of a mobile Hamfest. Everybody just brought their car and opened their trunk.
Yeah, that's okay.
To do a new I7BG, we're working the world wild and free.
2 minutes.
Got new
is
music.
correct. That is right.
Yeah.
According to our clock.
They have a tiny little desktop keyer here. Well, that I didn't get at the Hamfest, but it's
Let's see the
convenient
keyer.
to
Hold it
show
up,
things
Marcy.
off.
Is it one of those little MFJ ones?
No, here, let me show you.
Oh.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, is it a finger?
Just a
You
little.
put your finger
Each
on
of these
the
is the
pads?
Darlington pair, and they're resistive, touch sensitive.
Oh boy, that'd be
Nice.
yeah.
And so it's sort of an iambic key, just made from a few transistors. And these are just Darlington pairs that turn on and short the wires together.
Yeah. Hello to James WDAIOL. Up in
Yeah, he was
Toledo.
2 cars in front of me at Dayton leaving there on Sunday.
What you got there? Did you pick up a RU 101?
Yeah, I got, and that's I'll talk about this when we're doing the show. I got this for $20. It's a really
I
good
don't
deal
know
for a
why.
good LDG
Why does it
LDG
say?
isolator.
Let me say that again. Look at this.
Yep, there you go. Very similar.
Well, what's the difference? A RBA 1-to-1. Wait a minute, that says
Oh,
Ballon.
okay. Well, this is an un-un.
This is
that's
a Ballon. This is
Ballon.
a Ballon. You got a un.
Yeah. So this is good. This is good to just at the end of your feed line, make sure you don't
Yeah.
get zapped.
Yeah. So, yeah,
And
mine
it's a
is
little one.
Mine is
Yeah.
a Ballon, where yours is a
Right.
un. Now I do have a LEJ un, a 4-to-1 right here.
Yep. And the other thing I picked up was a Ballon I don't know if I can fit it on camera, but let's see if I can. Zoom out a little. Here you go.
Yeah.
There we are.
Yeah, cool.
Now, they advertised this. The guy had it on the table, and he had a label on it that said it was a 9-to-1 ballon.
Yeah.
It's actually a 12-to-1 ballon,
Well,
which is
that's
what you
probably-
use
that's
for
probably close
aerobic
enough.
and... Well,
Okay,
it's what you use for either aerobic or some loops will have a 600 ohm impedance. But the cool thing is, it's full legal power.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, guys,
So I'm not
we're
gonna
a
blow
minute
it out.
late. We are a
Yeah.
minute late.
Okay.
Let me get the ticker off. We're going to turn the ticker off. If I can figure out how to turn it off. There we go. All right, we'll get started. Let's turn the music off. Okay, let's get started here.
CQ on the air tonight. Where Roundtable's lit and the signal's tight. Per static fades, I twist the knob. The shack comes alive, this is my job. LEDs glow, antennas high. Another night beneath the sky. I'm calling out, hear that tone. Across the globe, I'm not alone. The net's alive and I'm checking in. Let the conversation begin. We're at the amateur radio roundtable. We're all plugged in, solid and stable. W5KUB's calling loud and proud. Spinning stories through the static cloud. From KW5GP to WI7BG. We're rocking the bands wild and free. Hey, Glenn's got mods on a breadboard bass. Brett's breaking news from a distant place. Tom's at the helm like a seasoned vet, streaming it live on the internet. Antenna swing, the skip is long. We're singing the ham radio song. Spin that dial, let's catch some heat. 40 meters never felt so sweet. But at the amateur radio roundtable, with coax lines and power cables, D's petitions, QSLs, we got more ham than a southern belle. From KW5GP to WI7BG, we're working the world wild and free. Well, yeah, rockin' worldwide. Mic in hand and a call sign, pride. Oh, yeah, the amateur radio roundtable. Story strong and signal stable. So key it up and call your name in this wild RF Hall of Fame. From KW5GP to you and me. We're having hard 7 to 3. CQ out. Hammond hard 7-3. Da, 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 out.
All right, welcome to Amateur Radio Roundtable. And it's a show about amateur radio, ham radio, shortwave, electronics, you name it, we've got it here. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. If you're listening out there on WBCQ, International Shortwave Radio Station on 7490, we'd love to hear from you. Hey, send us an email and let us know where in the world you are and how you're hearing the station tonight. We'd love to hear from you. Just send that to Tom at W5KUB.com, Tom at W5KUB.com, and we'll answer your email, and we'd love to hear from you. Tonight we're on X.com. We're on our Facebook group, which has 14,000 members in it. And we're also streaming live to YouTube. So we're on 3 different platforms tonight. And we're also on every podcast carrier out there, like iHeartRadio, Google Play. All those are carrying our show. If you will, if you're on a video channel somewhere, if you can, please hit that subscribe button. It greatly helps us out a lot to, get the word of our show out to people that are looking for similar content. And hit that like button, hit the notify button too. Sometimes we may come on in between Tuesdays, and we may have something neat going, and you might want to know about it. So hit that notification button there. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see. Hey, tonight I want to talk a little about fox hunting. My son Chris is down in Houston. They got a big fox hunt coming up. I want to hear you guys' ideas and some of the techniques you use and things like that. I've got some ideas here of my own, which aren't working out very well. So we want to talk about fox hunting. I've got an announcement about StepIR. You may have already heard it, but I've got an announcement about StepIR. And I want to talk a little about the Yaesu, the new Yaesu FTX1. I think it comes in 2 models, the Optima and the Field. So that's an interesting radio, but there's a number of interesting comments about it. We'll talk a little about that. And then toward the end of the show, I want to show you and talk a little about the show and what we do here to put this broadcast on all the social media platforms, and all that we go through to make it happen here. I'll show you the new vMix software that we're using, and just give you a little update on that. We've got Glenn and Brett with us tonight, and let's just jump over to Brett first and see what he's been doing this week. Go ahead, Brett.
Hello, Tom. Hello, everyone. Well, it's been the weather in Laramie, Wyoming has been very unpredictable. It's been raining every day at random times. There's been sudden winds and other crazy weather. So I've been doing mostly work on things indoors, continuing with my recapping project on that radio and cleaning up my shack. And this last weekend, I went to an event which was held in Cheyenne, Wyoming, one town over, and it was a Trunkfest. But basically, it's sort of like a parking lot flea market where everyone pulls in their vehicles, opens up their trunks, and sells stuff out of it. There's a lot of stuff given away for free, and I scored some really good stuff at that Trunkfest, and that I can show to you that is going to come in really handy for me.
All right, we'll be looking at that in just a minute. Don't keep it a surprise.
Okay.
And we'll make it the first segment here in just a few minutes after we talk with Glenn. So
cool.
Glad you're out, and hey, I guess winter's about gone over there where you are, right?
It's mostly gone. In Wyoming, we don't really have spring. We have winter, where it's summer, winter, and then eventually it kind of settles into being summer. We're having a lot of rain right now, and well, the mosquitoes are going to hatch in about half a month, and we're not looking forward to that. But hopefully they'll spray for them, and then it'll be summer.
Well, what are we going to do with these? We need to come up with a ham radio invention using RF somehow that kills mosquitoes. Say within, like a 100-foot radius. Wouldn't that be cool? Glenn could probably do that. We could probably take a little 555 timer and get Glenn to do something with Arduino and put it together. And
Well, they've already got it.
maybe
It's
a little
called the Tesla coil.
What?
Yeah, they've got it. It's the Tesla coil, out to about 100 feet.
Yeah, really? Okay. Well, they
Yeah,
always steal
nice
my
bug
idea.
zapper.
They always steal my ideas, man. But we're going to build one on a show. Okay. All right. So what else you been doing here, man?
Oh, me?
No,
I've
not
been
you.
working
You're not-
on
it's
some.
not your, no, it's not your turn yet.
Not my turn yet. It's
Not
still
your
Brent's
turn
turn.
Not your turn. Go ahead, Brett. Anything else going on?
Oh, uh, that is most of it. Next few weekends I'm going to be, and next few weeks I'm going to be home and continuing to work on stuff. I've got some improvements to make to my antenna. I got at Dayton. I got this wonderful Wolf River coil, which I want to use as a loading coil for my Delta loop, and see if that improves things in terms of in terms of letting me get down to lower bands, and just continuing to play and have fun.
Yeah, well, you need to use that thing you got at Dayton. You know, 2 years ago, I was at Dayton, and I bought this. I bought this
It's
2
a
years ago.
monster.
I bought this 2 years ago. I figured it'd work for, at least for QRP, up to maybe 10,000 watts. I don't know. Anyway, I bought that, and I haven't used it yet. I mean, I have a, I don't know, man. I just like these. So I bought that one, and guess what? Man, this year I was at Russellville and Glen, I think, was it Russellville? Yeah. Yeah. And Glen wasn't close enough to me. And look at there what I picked up at Russellville.
There you go.
I picked up another one, man. You know, this is motorized. And I got 2 more with this for free. If Glenn had been with me, he could have probably stopped me from getting that, but
No.
that's the problem. That's the problem I have. I get this stuff. I might not get around to using it for 10 years. So get to work, man.
Oh yeah, but then when you need it, it's really handy
Oh,
to
yeah.
have it already.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Glenn, it's your turn.
It's my turn?
Yep. What's
Are we
been
sure?
going on? Tell, give us
Oh,
a
man,
tower.
it's been-
Give us a tower update.
There is no tower at the moment.
Okay.
The one I had a line on, the mounting pole was $5,000, and I said, never mind. It was a really nice Illuma tower, but when the mounting pole cost as much as the tower, I had to pass. So I'm still looking.
Yeah.
Got the club looking for me, and I figure at the meeting next week I'll get some answers. I've been working on getting the shack squared away more than anything else, still working on the house. And just catching up on things. And as I mentioned, this showed up in the mail today. This is an open source remote controller project being put together by Nelson, Kilo Alpha 2 Charlie, and Jeff, W3 Alpha Delta Delta. And it's going to be an open source remote control platform to do all of your rig control, tuner control, antenna control, rotator, all of that on an open source style platform. And it's got a ESP32 here. So they got this to me to play with and tinker. And
Wow.
there's a whole line of stuff that they're got organized and putting together. And this flows right in with the mesh networking book that I'm busy putting together now. And as you can see, we have a different guest on the table tonight. Rodan got a little angry at me because I clipped her claws.
Ooh.
So we got Sasquatch standing in for her. But he won't be here long. He gets bored and he'll run off.
All right. Well, keep us informed about that little project there. It sounds like it does
Yeah.
everything. If it does everything, you're
Yeah.
not even going to need an operator. You just leave the house and, it does all the,
No, just fire up ChatGPT, give it control of that, and off you go, and come back, and you've got DXCC.
yeah, that's pretty cool, man. All right. Well, very good. All right. Well, Brett, let's talk about some of the things let's talk about the Hamfest. Give us more information.
No. Okay, well, the Cheyenne Trunkfest, I didn't expect to be as good as it was, but people came all the way up from Colorado, and there was a lot of participation, and I picked up some treasures. I had a lot of fun there, so let me go ahead and switch over to my desk cam. I'll show you some of the things I got. First thing I got was this Unun, an LDG Unun, if you look inside the box. It's pretty small and light, which is very convenient. Little and basically it's a one-to-one transformer. Now, why on earth do you need a one-to-one transformer? It doesn't actually change anything about the signal that's going through it. Well, the answer is that you do this to isolate what's on one side from what's on the other side. And this is especially useful if you have RF coming back down the shield of your coax and you don't want to get zapped by it when you touch your radio. This is a little guy. It's good for about 100 watts, and so this would be good for POTA or for just for just a regular 100-watt rig. And again, since it's portable, I expect to be able to travel with it. So that's a really useful thing. And the great thing is, Hamfest prices. I was able to get this for $20. There's no way I would have been able to pick this up for $20 if I'd actually ordered it from from a company. So that was a good deal, and it was a good little treasure to have because I know I'm going to use it. Next thing I picked up, I'm still trying to figure out exactly which project I'm going to use it on, but it was kind of a cool thing. This is a ballon. And this one was advertised, it was sitting on the table, it was advertised as by the person who was selling it as a 9-to-1 ballon. But if you take a look at it, it says BAL 600. I looked that up, and that means, sure enough, that it is a 12-to-1 ballon. It goes between 50 ohms and 600 ohms. So it's really useful if you want to feed a 600 ohm wire antenna. Now, what kind of antennas have 600 ohm impedance? Not a regular dipole, but it turns out that a rhombic or a loop, if you have like a sky loop, usually has an impedance of about 600 ohms. So this would be perfect for that. And it's a big, heavy thing. You can sort of see, if I zoom out a little, you can sort of see just how big the thing is. It's a full legal power. So no matter how much power I want to transmit, this will be useful for that. So that was the second little treasure I picked up. And then finally, I was just about to leave, and I found this little thing that was labeled $2.
Wait
and
a
I
minute,
turned it
$2?
over. To take a look at what it was. And you can see what it is. It's something you can't buy anymore now. It is an MFG CW keyer and CW practice oscillator.
Cool.
And it's the MFJ 403. It's the older version that doesn't have a volume control. That doesn't really bother me. The volume is fine as it is. And you hook this up to a key through a little mini jack, and it does a real good job of just being a basic keyer. Etc. And it can go considerably faster than that. This is a speed dial. And so this, like I said, I was surprised, $2, and I get to practice CW with it. It's got the output to go to the rig right here. This is an RCA jack. Mm-hmm. And just a really cool little gadget for almost nothing. And that was the other great find. So I had a lot of fun at that swap meet. Oh, there is one other thing I picked up, but I can't really call it a ham radio find. And that is, there was one fellow there who had a couple of stands for musical instruments, and he had a guitar stand. And I have one guitar that's been leaning against my piano in the living room forever. And I've realized that I needed a stand for it. So $5, and I got a guitar stand. So again,
can't beat that.
You made out great.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah. And so it was a real success, and I'm glad I went, talked shop with a lot of people, just had a lot of fun. And so that was my Saturday at the Trunkfest.
Well, that's cool. I like that MFK keyer there. That's really cool. A lot of the older rigs don't have the keyer built in like the new rigs do.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of MFJ, I had a long talk with Martin today, and
Oh, cool.
he's doing good. He was at the office reading his email. They still have kind of a skeleton staff there, maybe 8 or 9 people. Still no luck on selling a business or anything. Just can't find anybody to do it. I think the business is just horizontally, it's just so wide with different products and different companies that there's no one out there, unless you grew up managing this company, it'd be a real difficult thing for somebody to come in here and try to get it going again. So I don't know what's going to happen to it. He doesn't know.
Has he thought about selling his product lines off individually? I mean, things like the Ameritron amplifiers would be wonderful to keep going.
Yeah. Well, I've talked to him about that. I don't think there's anybody that's interested enough to make an offer. Probably all this electronic stuff coming from China is probably one of the reasons. It's probably going to put everybody out of business at one time, but he's still looking. He hadn't given up yet. He wants to come back on the show, but I talked to him about 5 to 6 o'clock tonight, and he just felt too tired to be on a show tonight. He's probably in bed right now sleeping, and that's where I need to go here in a little while, but I missed my nap today. But he wants to come back on the show pretty soon, and it'd be fun to have him back on here. His and my ham radio background are kind of similar. He grew up, he got his license at age 16, I think, in the Mississippi Delta. They lived right there on Highway 61 down in Mississippi. Well, I lived in the Mississippi Delta. I got my license at 16. And I lived on Highway 61 over in Arkansas. It comes up Mississippi, crosses the river, and it goes up Arkansas. So there's a lot of similarities there. And some of our building and stuff when we first got it started, both of us got our license at age 16, and we did just about the same thing there. In fact, that's probably what every ham at 16 years old back in 1960 was doing. Exactly. Probably what we were doing there. All right. Okay. Well, hey.
I got mine at 15.
What was that?
I got mine at 15.
Man, you were a young guy, man. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there's,
I was a novice when I was in the Boy Scouts.
Well.
Yeah.
I think studying is a lot easier for the license now. There are 9-year-olds getting your license now.
Yeah.
You were a little bit later than me, but probably had the same type material to study.
Pretty much, yeah.
We didn't have the internet. I grew up, I guess it was kind of, I wasn't maybe as fortunate you growing up in a large place where you had maybe a ham club or other hams around. I had nobody.
No, I didn't have a ham club, but 2 other classmates were hams, and they got me into it.
That's cool.
But yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have any I did find a tech there, and I was interested in getting my license. And of course, he couldn't give me the novice test back then because he was a tech. But started off not knowing nothing. I guess I probably started off with Radio Shack. I forget what the name of it was, but something study for ham radio. It was a Radio Shack, little fold-out book you could buy. And that's probably how we got our license. And took my novice test up in another town. He sent me to another ham up in Osceola, Arkansas. And I didn't realize it. I think the guy was trying to help me out, Here's a little kid wanting to get his ham license. I'm going to help him out. So we're out in his shack, and he's fired up his monitor, his audio keyer and stuff, and he's practicing a little bit. And he tells me, "Here, take this article here. Read this article while I'm, working." So he gives me a CQ or something magazine, and he wants me to read this article. Well, I'm not much of a reader. I don't read a lot of books or anything like that, so I probably didn't read much. Anyway, he's sending V's and testing and doing things over there. And then he gave me the novice test. Of course, I passed it. I think what he was doing is, I don't know if he's cheating or not. I don't think he could get arrested for this. I think what he did is he told me, read this article right here, because I think that was part of the test in Morse code that he sent to me. That would kind of help me along a little bit, you know, but I didn't catch the hint. I don't think I even read it, you know. Anyway, so, you know, hey, back then, probably like you, when you got the novice license, we had 1 year. That's all we could use it, 1 year. And
I think I had 2 years.
It did not, okay, well, I had 1 year. It did not renew.
That's correct.
It didn't renew. Boy, you at the end of the year, you're out of luck if you hadn't upgraded. So, you know, of course, novice, about all you could do is work CW back then. I mean, man, I never heard of 2 meters.
And that's the other thing.
I never heard of 2 meters or anything like that back in 1960. Nah. And even if I had, there wouldn't have been any 2 meter activity where I lived, where there were no hams. I mean, you know, who am I going to talk to?
Well, in Miami, we had one repeater on 7.6 that everybody used, and it was rather busy, and I had a GE pre-progress line to get me there. But the one thing you haven't mentioned, Tom, is that for the novice back then, you had to send and receive 5 words a minute of code.
Yeah. Well, you know, it didn't take long. I enjoyed that. I mean, I got my license.
Oh, I love CW.
Code only. My dad looked at me and says, what do you code only? What do you get that for? Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just knew it was a stepping stone. But anyway, pretty quick, within a few months, you know, my code speed was up, and of course it has to go up if that's all you can send is CW. So anyway, I was 16 years old, just got my driver's license. You know, never lived in a big city. My town had 900 and something people. That's how big it was. And I'm not even sure we had a stop sign. I know we didn't have any stoplights. I don't even know if we had a stop sign, to tell you the truth. You know, a town of a population of about 900 people. Just got my driver's license. And my hometown's about 50 miles over in Arkansas, away from Memphis. Well, you know, to get that general license, we had to go to the FCC to take our test.
Yes, sir.
And I drove by myself to Memphis, crossed that bridge, made those turns, all those circles and stuff, went down Riverside Drive and up the hill and to the courthouse, the federal courthouse, to take my test. Never driven to Memphis or a city with more than 1,000 people in all my life. Anyway, I parked, went in, you know, 16 years old, and there was a woman that was giving the test. Yeah, I'm sure there were other people there too, but I remember her. She kind of reminded me of Sergeant Hoka, you know, the big toe guy, Sergeant Hoka. Anyway, she gave the code test. I'm 16. There was a lot of old folks in there, man. There were a lot of old people in there like I am now, you know. And they were all complaining. That's uncopyable. It's bouncing off the walls, and, you know, nobody can read that. And the 16-year-old read it. I copied it, you know, no problem at all. So, you know, I passed my test and got my license. Drove home, and then I was a general. So that's kind of my experience there. And now Martin, he lives so far out of town, he got what was called a conditional license. You know, I don't know, are you familiar with that, Glenn, the conditional license?
It's vaguely familiar, but I couldn't answer what the details are.
You could get a general license, but you didn't have to go to the FCC to take the test because you were so far away. And a ham could give you that test. And so he got his license through the conditional testing. Oh, but you know, over the years, the licensing has changed a lot. You know, a general could give a novice test to anyone.
Correct.
For many years,
that's how I got mine.
While I was a ham, you know, if you were general, advanced, whatever. You could actually give a test, a novice test to people that wanted to get their license. So I gave a number of novice tests out, and they have, of course, they quit that, and they've gone to the volunteer examiners now, the VEs. Things have changed a little bit over the years. I had another point I was going to make, but I forget what it was there. But it was real interesting. It wasn't anything difficult to do, as we were growing up there.
Well, it terrified me. I had to drive to downtown Miami to take my test, the big FCC federal building downtown. And, here I am, probably a 16-year-old kid at the time, and having to go into that government building and take that 13-word-a-minute test. I was terrified. I passed it, but I was terrified.
Well, what we had to do, we had to copy. I think they sent, maybe they sent 5 minutes, and we had to copy
5 minutes,
1 minute.
yeah.
You had to copy 1 minute solid. You couldn't make a mistake in any 1 minute.
Right.
So, I think it was, 65 characters or something like that. I don't know. You had to get 65 characters and not miss a single one. The novice license, of course, they don't give that test anymore. It's not available anymore, but and I learned a year or so ago, there are still people out there that have the novice license. There are still some active novice license out there. And I've got a friend here in town that has a novice license. Of course, he hadn't operated in probably 40 years, but he's got that novice license.
Well, here's an interesting thing. I saw a meme going around. Did you know that Priscilla Presley is a ham? What is it? W6YOS.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew she was. There's a number of famous people that do have their license like that, and Priscilla was one, in fact, I even saw that today on the internet, and I think I saw it yesterday. I was thinking,
it's been going around recently.
Let's see if we can contact her and get her on a show,
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. There's several still living, high profile movie stars, different people out there that have their license, and
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. You were talking about going to the federal building. That's what I went to. It was the post office building or the federal building in Memphis. And they only came 4 times a year to Memphis. This was not you come any week you want to. They came 4 times, and if you missed passing, you had to wait until it came back 3 months later, So that was a little incentive to, to get going, and learn it and get in there and pass it, And, so, my experiences with FCCs varied, from, then they came up with incentive licensing. I forget when that was. I guess late 60s, maybe. Yeah, incentive licensing where...
No, it had to be 70s.
Oh, it was in the 70s. Okay. Well, when we got to general, we had the entire band. And then they were going to come up with incentive licensing where they took half the phone band away from you and gave it to the advanced. So you lost half, and if you wanted the whole band back, you had to upgrade to advanced and of course, extra. But, the federal building, I took several tests there. I did the advanced and the general there. I took my first class radio telephone license test there. And so I don't have any real bad memories about the testing or anything like that, but I do remember that drive and going down there that day, Okay.
Yeah, her car was N6YOS, and she allowed it to expire in 2000.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's somebody I've been wanting to get on here, and that's Ronnie Millsap. I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe people don't know who Ronnie Millsap is, but he's a blind country music singer. He lives outside of Nashville, and he is a ham. Don't know if he's active. I'd love to, and I've thought about many times trying to contact Ronnie Millsap just to see if I could get him on the show, but
Yeah.
haven't done it yet. All right. Hey, coming up, I want to talk about, guys, get your hat on. Everybody, even in the chat room, get your hat on. I want to talk about fox hunting. My son's still in the room here. AC5CM. Is he still in the room? I don't know if he's in here or not. Yeah, he's in here. Anyway, I wanted to talk about fox hunting and maybe some ideas about it. How the best way to go about it. It's kind of easy, but there is some difficulty to it here. Hey, we'll be right back, and we're going to talk about fox hunting next. Stand by, everybody. We'll be right back. Icom's IC7760 is a pinnacle of base station excellence for amateur radio enthusiasts. Designed to deliver unmatched performance, the IC7760 features state-of-the-art technology, exceptional RF clarity, and an intuitive interface, all housed in a sleek and durable design. This base station features a separate remote control head and RF deck, providing enhanced flexibility for installation. Place the RF deck closer to the antenna feed point, freeing up space on your desk. You can also connect a control head to the RF deck through your home network, enabling remote operation from anywhere in your home without needing a PC. Pair the IC7760 with a powerful IC-PW2 linear amplifier and take your contesting experience to the next level with Icom's industry-first linear amplifier. Together, they redefine what's possible in amateur radio. For more information about Icom's amateur radios, please visit icomamerica.com/amateur. All right. Well, Chris, AC5CM, he's in the chat room, so he'll probably chime in here. But he talked to me the other day about they've got a big fox hunt coming up in Houston here, I think next month, and I think he's going to jump into it and swoop in and get the main prize if he can. So I was just thinking, giving it some ideas and trying some ideas out. I think they're going to place it in maybe a 5 or 10 mile square area somewhere in Houston. That's going to be the starting point. You don't know where it is. And then, of course, as all fox hunts, you have to zero in on it and actually find it.
That's a big area for a fox hunt.
Yeah, it really is. The last couple I've witnessed were in parks, like at the Russellville Hamfest, where it was in a big park there. Okay, I've got an address here for Ronnie Millsap. I might send him a note, see if we can get him on the show. So he said this fox hunt coming up. And
so
it's...
What kind of antenna does he use?
Well, that's the deal. I mean, Chris lives like, I think it's southeast of Houston, kind of in the suburb. You might can use like an Arrow, Arrow handheld Yagi or something like that to get the general direction. Of course, we all know if you a handheld Yagi like it, it's got a beam width of X number of degrees. It's not just pinpointing, but they're going to publish the approximate area, so he'll know about where to go. So as he gets closer and closer, I think the Yagi probably won't do him a whole lot of good.
Yeah, a lot of people will use a loop because it has very strong nulls on the side, and so you can
right.
bring it
And
back
I
and
thought
forth.
of that too.
And use your body. And the other thing is you can use your body to, since a loop has got a symmetrical pattern, use your body to block the signal coming from behind you. So you hold
The
it near
winner,
your body
yeah,
and turn.
yeah. Well, the winner in Russellville last year, he used a handy-talkie and a pie pan, just a regular pie
Mm-hmm.
pan. He held the pie pan behind the handy-talkie and basically aimed it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can see how that helps, but you've got to also understand that even holding a pie pan back there, you've got a really wide area of signal that can come in. So I'm thinking you got to really be able, like Doc says, you got to really attenuate that signal. Really, really get it down to where it's noisy. If you can get that signal down to where it's in a noise level, then you can take X-type antenna and turn it, and you'll hear it come in and go out in that noise level. That will help you. So I'm thinking, okay, look, this is a Roundtable design right here. Let me show you what this is. Roundtable design. I'm thinking, okay, let's take a coffee can. Let's take a coffee can. It doesn't have to be resonant. Guys, we're not talking about resonant antennas here. We're talking about picking up a signal. I don't care if the SWR is 100 to 1 and if the impedance is, 1822.58 ohms. I don't care. As long as you're getting a signal and you can attenuate it, that's what you want. So I'm thinking, okay, let's take something like a coffee can. And there's a BNC. And I put a potentiometer in here. And I've just got a little white wire you see there. It's just a pickup. It's just to pick the signal up. And I'm thinking, okay, if you hook the handy-talkie to this can, you should be able to turn this can, and it should actually block the signal somewhat from the sides or the back. Okay, it should kind of block it. And with the potentiometer on here, you should be able to turn that RF signal down to zero. I mean, I'm talking. You're going to go from full potentiometer to ground, basically. Let me see if I can draw that on a. Let me see if I can put that on a piece of paper.
And I got a question, Tom.
Yeah.
The coffee grounds in that can, do they do added signal absorption?
They do. They help.
Yeah,
suck
I was
it
just
in.
wondering.
They help suck it in.
Yeah.
So what
Maybe
I
they give
thought,
you more energy to chase the fox.
What I thought was.
There you go.
What I thought was, so if you just have if you take a potentiometer, and this is why is it focusing? Man, what is going on here? Come on, focus. If you take a potentiometer, let's see. Yeah, let's do this.
And while you're doing that, Tom, there's a whole group. They're on a Discord text server.
Yeah.
Several Memphis folks and Mike, KK4IOH up there. And they do tracking of the radio sound balloons every day
Oh yeah.
and track them down.
So
Yeah.
So I feel like, okay, let's take a potentiometer and let's just take us a wire pickup. So on this potentiometer, one side's grounded. There's your center of your potentiometer, and at the top of your potentiometer, let's just put a wire up here. Let's just put a wire up here inside the can, and this wire here picks up the signal.
Yeah, Tom, we're not seeing your picture.
I'm bad about that. Turn that audio off. Okay. So let me start over. Explain that again. So anyway, okay. So let's take a potentiometer. One side's grounded in the can. That's the tap that turns. And then at the top of the potentiometer, let's just put a pickup piece on there, a piece of wire. That's our antenna. So you can see and then this goes out through a BNC connector, to the HT. Now you can see as the wiper here, the potentiometer is up here, it's going to get the most signal. And as it comes down closer and closer and closer and closer to ground, the output there is going to be practically zero. So this should give you some good attenuation. Now, we don't have to worry about 50 ohms and matching and all that stuff. All we want to do is hear it. So, I'm thinking, okay, this right here might work. So I built that up. And played with it. I didn't go very far away. I went to the other end of the house, and it was just still too much signal, even with this. And I found out that using a little new Kenwood handy-talkie, even with the antenna off, the handy-talkie, of course it has a plastic case, the handy-talkie was picking up almost full quieting signal through the case. So we're getting too much signal in through the case. I'm not isolating it to this. I think this will work. Now, as Chris mentioned, some people wrap their handy-talkie in aluminum foil. I'm not sure that will work unless somehow you can ground it aluminum foil. But I'm thinking, and of course you would need to, probably as you get closer and closer, you'll need to back that squelch off, to the highest level at some point. I still think having a variable attenuation would be good to be able just to bring it just right where it cracks the squelch, and you could, it's got to work. But if this is not enough, I'm thinking, okay, let's do this. Let's take a 4-inch pipe, something like not a heavy lead pipe, but something like a 4-inch galvanized, a pipe like you'd put on a clothes dryer or something, that type material, thin, thin. Take a 4-inch pipe, maybe 4 feet long, put the radio inside it and close the back.
Yeah, air conditioning ductwork.
Yeah, something like
Dryer
ductwork.
duct.
Yeah, like ductwork. So put that, I'm thinking 4-inch would be good. I don't think I would want to use a 8-inch or 12-inch pipe, but say it's something like about a 4-inch. These flexible
4-inch aluminum dryer duct would be
these
perfect.
flexible dryer hoses, they're 4 inches, and they also make a 4-inch.
Or you can
rigid.
just get the aluminum pieces in 4-inch diameter.
Yeah, they also make a rigid 4-inch. So I'm thinking if you put the radio all the way in there and close the end, the only place the signal's going to come in is through that front of that pipe. And I'm thinking,
and Mark P. Or KA9 SZX also brought up that you use offset attenuation, go off frequency to listen to the signal, and that will cut down the signal strength as well.
Yeah, you can definitely do that for sure. Yeah. So I'm thinking, that's like back when we were a young kid, we built these shotgun microphones, and we used pipe. We put a microphone at the end of the pipe, and we had different length pipe on there, and you could actually aim that pipe at people down the street, and you could hear them almost talking, So I'm thinking if you put that radio inside that pipe, the only signal that can get in there is coming through that front opening of that pipe. Now, it would be cool if you have a radio with an S meter on it. Not all radios have an S meter, but it'd be cool. But now you got the problem of how do you control it and see the S meter if it's inside a pipe? I guess you could cut a little slot in the pipe, maybe where the display is. I don't know, but what do you think about the pipe approach? Put the radio in a pipe. Let's get Brett here. Brett designs these things all the time. Brett, what do you think, Brett?
Well, in order to be a waveguide, you don't want a pipe that's less than a quarter of a wavelength in diameter. Otherwise, you're just using it as a shield. But a quarter of a wavelength for 2 meters would be, okay, about 18 and a half, 19 inches. That's not too bad. You could probably carry that, especially if it wasn't too long. So you might be able to do it, and then you could actually put a quarter wave stub inside.
Well, let's go back. I don't know that I could put a quarter wave stub in a 4-inch pipe, 4-inch diameter pipe.
Not 4 inch. You need to do like 18 to 20 inches. So you need a big can.
I honestly think that would be too big of an opening and too short. But let's go back to radio basics. I mean, I'm not trying to make it resonant. I'm not trying to make it a certain length. A certain amount of signal is going to come in that opening. I don't care. I mean, a certain amount of signal will come in that opening, and all I'm looking for is directivity, and to be able to attenuate it. So I'm not sure I need anything resonant.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I don't know. I think in order to
I think 146.5.
I think in order to focus it'd be better, but yeah, I mean, you're right. Anything that just shields it would help.
Yeah.
You could put your rubber duck antenna from your HT inside a can.
Yeah. Well, let's see what they're saying in the chat room.
Well, Bill was talking about a TDOA unit, and I forgot what TDOA is. I just looked it up. I believe it's time difference of arrival, kind of like a Doppler thing that was big in fox hunts back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And Bill actually still has that board. He posted a link to the board schematic. So there's that.
Okay. Well, it's probably going to be somewhere possibly, in Houston. There's going to be buildings around. You're going to probably have multipath. You're going to have all kinds of things. So you're going to have to.
All right, now here's a really out of this world style. And Chris, since you know the rules on this particular contest, see if this would apply. What if you got an Arduino with a directional antenna, a good directional antenna, and used a GPS to get bearings to that location, and then where the 3 transmissions crossed in the GPS, do triangulation and see how close it would put you to the fox. But you can have the GPS predict and tell you where to go after 3 hits. And then every additional hit would refine the direction and distance.
Well, okay. So that's the project that Chris is going to be working on over the next probably few weeks.
And now you know why they don't allow me in fox hunts anymore.
Yeah.
As Brett well knows, I'm one always looking for loopholes in the rules.
Yeah. Well, Brett mentioned also a loop, and a loop is good.
Yeah, a loop would be good. I mean, back then there were all sorts of things. I remember a gentleman had the Doppler, and everybody else had the Yagis and stuff. And this, but it was a basic, easy style fox hunt. It was just, 5 miles away was the starting point.
Yeah, I think the key is when you get close, you're going to have to take that attenuation down, and keep it in a noise level. If you can't get it down that low, I don't think you're going to find it.
Yeah, somebody to talk to would be the folks on this Discord server because they daily chase down these balloons, and they may have a better technology for the up close stuff.
Yeah. Well, Chris mentioned a three-step attenuator. I just don't think that's going to work. I mean, if you have three attenuations, I mean, what's going to happen when you need the fourth?
Yeah.
With my potentiometer here, I mean, I've got 1 million steps here. I can take that RF signal down to point oh 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 1.
Yeah, CKD5FX actually used my technique in a manual method. He phoned a friend to get a heading from across town.
Yeah. Okay, so that's our plan, and well, it's not a plan. That's our thoughts. And if any of you guys come up with some great things, you can email us. I'll get it to Chris, and he can use any of your ideas. It got me thinking. Maybe Roundtable should have a fox hunt. Maybe we should announce a Roundtable fox hunt for the Memphis, Tennessee area, and see if we can get people to come in here from 300 or 400 miles away. Maybe have a big deal, and maybe we tell them
do something at Huntsville.
Yeah, but maybe I want to do something here. Maybe we tell them, afterwards we'll cook hamburgers and hot dogs and.
Yeah, and maybe you get somebody to donate a good prize.
Yeah. We could do that, but I'm not sure what kind of turnout we'd really get.
I think you'd be surprised if you were offering a decent prize like a transceiver.
If I got a 7300 to give away, I wouldn't be surprised we get 4 people say they're going to attend.
Oh no, I bet you get 20 people.
Really? That's not.
If you advertised it correctly, absolutely.
Yeah.
For 7,300, oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Just something to think about.
All right. Well, that's enough on fox hunting right now, guys. That's what we're thinking about. Thanks for the ideas, everybody. I'm sure everybody has different thoughts, and probably a lot of different ways do work. Like I said, the pie pan behind Rubber Ducky won it in Russellville.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying he saw where they planted it. All right.
But I tell you, this gang that tracks down the radio songs, there's usually about 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
And they're in the Memphis area.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be surprised how many would show up for a real prize.
Yeah, I was just reading the chat room here. I think if we had a fox hunt, we ought to plant it right at the back door of a bank or something like that, and do it at night. Yeah, that's the ticket. And tell everybody.
And the grand prize would be your bail bond.
Tell everybody they should wear a mask while they're looking for it.
Yeah.
All right. Hey.
Best costume wins.
Some news, guys. Let's talk about some news here. I don't know if you guys have heard or not, but StepIR, they're going out of business. They're going to close down, I think, in August.
Well, they're not going out of business. They're closing down their ham radio
business. They're going to stay in a commercial
They're going out
business.
of the correct. Yeah.
So that's going to.
But they're getting out of the ham radio and consumer side of things.
Yep.
So what other businesses do they have? They didn't say in their notice. Do they do?
I'm going to assume some form of commercial or military.
They probably have a commercial version of their StepIR, however you pronounce it here. Yeah. I've always thought that was an interesting antenna design. In fact, I'm always trying to build or experiment with things like that. And even Mark P. in the chat room, he sent me a tape measure the other day, and I always wanted to take a long tape measure and put a pulley up real high, 40, 50 feet in the air, put a pulley there and motorize it where I can run that tape measure up or down, and watch the SWR here in the shack,
Well, use an Arduino and a stepper motor.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
let it auto-tune for you.
Yeah. Well, if I knew somebody that knew enough about Arduino that could build that, I'd ask them to help with the project.
I don't know. I might be able to find a guy.
Yeah.
I think I know a guy that knows a guy.
Okay. That would be an interesting
Yeah.
project. Right there.
That's actually, let's see, right here. And you're not going to see enough to zoom in and read this.
Wait a minute.
Here
Wait a minute. Now, what was that?
Here are 59 Arduino projects to build for ham radio that is in my queue of things to build. And I believe a StepIR style antenna tuner was one of the projects, and if not, it is now.
Yeah. If you would, hold that up again toward the camera. Just hold it up there hold it up for a second. No, I'll turn it around. There you go. Oh man, I just about got it.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
I just about got it, man. You leave it
There
a
you
little
go.
longer.
All right, I'll give you this much. Go for it.
No, that's all right. I don't want any trade secrets. No, that's
I
okay.
figured,
That's okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Where
Mark
were
says
we?
now I got 60, and he's right.
I forget where we were. Okay, so
We were talking
the
about your
tape measure antenna. That'd be kind of cool, man, to adjust the length. Now, even using a tape measure is not a new idea. We had tape measures many years. In fact, when I was in the Air Force I'd say around 1969, 1970, I was in the 4th Mob, and we were a mobile comm group. And we would go out, set up a base, communications, and we'd have vans with the radios, and we'd set the antennas up. And you need one of the poles that we used, Glenn, the non-conductive poles that we would put up, But anyway, where am I going with this? Oh, I know. We had some antennas in the center insulator device. It had 100-foot tape in both sides. It had a crank on it where you could crank it in, and you could actually pull that tape measure out of that center conductor for a pretty large dipole. So the concept of using a tape has been around and used for a long time.
Well, I mean, if you look at the StepIR, it's really a very simple design. It's the mechanics of it that make it so wonderful.
Yeah, and I mean it's the same thing. I mean, and I've looked at
Might
your
as well
design,
be a tape measure.
And I've thought, hey, I don't even have to use a tape measure. I could just
Yeah.
pull a piece of wire that's on a reel up, so many feet, let it down, and adjust it, So that'd be interesting. I hadn't got my other antenna project started yet. I'm just a little lazy. Okay, very good. Did y'all know that June is Amateur Radio Month in Hawaii?
Cool.
I don't know what that means.
All right.
I don't know
Yeah,
what it means.
well, I think it's time for an all expense paid remote webcast from Hawaii.
Well, we might could do that if
Yeah. We'll do it from the shores of Waikiki.
Well, we probably can't send. I mean, that's an expensive trip. We probably can't send more than one person, and usually that's going to be the head guy. So If y'all would send your money
I
to,
don't know.
if y'all
You
would
want
just send your
somebody
money
young.
to Post Office Box 88, Collierville,
Yeah.
that'd be fine. Okay. All right.
Well, we could go field day and do field day and go really far afield.
Well, here we can save some money. KD5FX is going to be on Kauai in October. But that's not this month.
Oh, that's right. He's gonna miss Amateur Radio Month.
Ham Radio Month, man.
No, it's Amateur Radio Month.
Amateur Radio Month.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hey, moving on. Y'all knew the Yaesu FTX1 has just come out. I don't know much about it, but I'm starting to hear a lot of people complaining about different things. Maybe they complain about all radios when they come out. I don't know. But the FTX1, my understanding is, what little bit of research I've done, you can get it in two models. You can get it in the Optima version, and you can get it in the field version. The Optima version costs you about $1,500. Yeah, and the field version, oh wait, no, I've got that backwards. Yeah, in the field version, $1,900. I may have them backwards again, I'm sorry. But the field version, it's a nice little looking. I thought I had a picture here.
No.
Guess not.
As I understand it, it's a jack in a box. It's an all-bander, all the
Yeah.
way from HF up to UHF. And that it comes, basically it has the faceplate is a QRP radio like the IC705. And then it snaps onto a base station back end,
Yeah.
which is a 100-watt amplifier.
Yeah, and that's what changes the price. The amplifier, the power amplifier is $400. That's what makes the difference between the $1,500 and the $1,900. So some of the things that I was reading is, one guy didn't like his touchscreen. He's adjusted the touchscreen to stay on as long as he can, but he can't quite get through the menu before it goes blank on him, and he has to start over again. So, little things like maybe the touchscreen is an issue. The field version has a battery that will attach on the back of the head, like Brett was describing. Now the field version only runs 6 watts. And it has a lithium-ion battery that will go in the back. Now, I think people are having trouble running it on a 12-volt battery, like a car battery or a battery that they might take out, because the 12 volts might not quite have enough voltage to make it work properly. Now, Yaesu has a part number for the charger, but they haven't released it for sale yet. So you can't get the charger to charge the battery, whatever that means. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's an issue they're having. A lot of them are having a problem, and this may be something that's common to a lot of POTA type operations. A lot of people are getting RF back into the radio. And I can see how on a POTA or something like that, you throw a wire in a tree and, you don't have, counterpoise and different things like that you can get RF back. But a lot of people are getting RF back in the radio, and it shuts the radio down. So they're complaining about that. So I think the undervoltage problems may be an issue.
Now, Doc is saying that he's heard about a firmware update that fixes a lot of those issues, or some of those issues.
Yeah. Well, it looked like a pretty radio. They're saying it's going to replace.
I saw it in Dayton. It was pretty.
It's saying it's going to replace the FT817 and the 818. I'm not real familiar with any of those right there. So.
No.
But I didn't know if we have anybody in the chat room who has experience with one of the FTX1s. That would be interesting. And Brett just put a picture. Is that an FTX1 right there?
Yes, that's an FTX1.
Yeah.
And if you scroll down, actually there's multiple photos on this that you can show.
Yeah.
And let's scroll down a little. There's another sort of another slant on it.
Yep.
And basically, what they say is, yeah, it's the QRP rig, just like just like the the KX2, although it's more sophisticated than the KX2 or the IC705. But then it attaches to the back, and it's an all-bander, which is which is particularly nice. And yes, they do provide you with the battery pack. Now, one thing I don't know if they say, I'm going to look here. Does it have an antenna tuner in the base
Yes.
or
The field version
standalone?
has the antenna tuner in it, but it was a little questionable whether it was just a standard tuner like 4-to-1 or if it would do a larger impedance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that $400 comes in. I think the amplifier. I think maybe the tuner is built in with the amplifier module.
That's what I'm looking at, because it's hard to fit all those relays and coils into something as small as the head. So I would suspect that they have a built-in tuner. It's in the base and not in the head.
Right, right.
Not in the optimum.
And it's probably your standard. It's probably like your standard tuner in your other radios that will handle only a small range. Maybe 3 or 4-to-1 at the most. It's not like a LDG tuner or something like we've got, Brett, that will tune just about any impedance. And that's by doing that, they cut down the number of relays and everything. They may only have 3 relays in it. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. I can do a search and find out what people say about that.
Yeah. All right.
And Bill is saying it's got a 3D waterfall display.
Well, it probably has the same display as the FTDX 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, if you're out there listening on shortwave, you're listening to Amateur Radio Roundtable, a show about ham radio, shortwave, electronics. Glad to have you. And you can also watch the show every Tuesday night live, 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Simplest way is to go to w5kub.com, and you can check the show out and join our chat room and talk with us. All right, we got a few more minutes before we shut down here. I want to talk a minute about our new, we've done some upgrades here for the show. And just kind of tell people what we've done here. And I want to also thank and appreciate Mark P. for helping us. He's our computer guru expert there. Made a number of recommendations and helped us out. But recently, we have been running the show on probably computer equipment that didn't have the, I'm going to use a technical term here, the oomph. It didn't have the oomph, and it needed to really stream really well. And particularly when we streamed to 3 different or 4 different services at the same time, it was taking a beating. It didn't want to do that very well. You may have seen some sluggish things going on, or videos sluggish and so forth.
Well, if you'd upgrade from Windows 98, you wouldn't have that issue.
Well, we're on Windows 1000 right now.
Oh.
So, hey, we're covered. So, guys, what we did, and every time you spend a little money, you ever get into a situation where, Glenn, you buy you
a new, first of all, there's no such thing as spending a little money.
Yeah, you buy you a new pump for your pool, right? And you get home and it won't connect because the hose is a different size. So now you go out and you buy,
new hoses.
You go out and you buy the new hoses and lines, Well, don't forget about the pipes that go underground. So now you got to hire a plumber. He digs it all up and he puts bigger pipes in. Now, they don't fit to the pool right, So you got to have, it just on and on and on. Well, that's what we had when we upgraded here a few weeks ago. We we knew we were getting a graphics card, and we got a fairly high-end graphics card. It's somewhat aged, but it's still, I think, a great graphics card. I knew the card itself was about $1,200. I guarantee you that's more than we put in the computer total when we bought this computer. But you know, some of the graphics card, we bought a graphics card, and to do that, the graphics card takes a lot of power. This graphics card, it had 8 12-volt wires that went to it just to bring power to it, 8. So we had to upgrade the power supply. We upgraded our power supply from a 240-watt power supply to a 750-watt power supply. And it's rated at like 60 amps at 12 volts. Well, the power supply didn't quite want to fit, even though it was the ATX standard. It was just a little longer. It just didn't want to fit. The cabinet, the door latch was in the way, and you know, so we had to cut the door latch off, and then there was some metal down at the back where the thing bolted in. It was kind of in the way, so we had to bend some metal back, and then the power supply set in, and all 4 screws fit. Okay, great. Now we go to put the card in. We put the GPU card in, and it's too long. This sucker is about a foot long, man. You know, so we tear out some of the metal in the back where it seats in there, and then at the very end back there, it was so long it was hitting a big cage where all the hard drives were. So I had to take the hard drives out, and we tore the cage out. I took Dremel tools, and I took cutters, and we bent, and we took cages out, and we got the lengthwise now. Now we can get that card in there. So I try to set it down in the PCI slot, and it won't go all the way down because on the motherboard behind the PCI slot, you got 4 SATA drive plugs and a USB plug that goes to the front, and they're all sticking up about 1.5 inches. And this card has to seat down in that PCI slot. All right, so I said, okay, I didn't want to give up, man. You know, when the enemy's attacking, you know, you got to do things that you wouldn't normally do. So I took a Dremel tool, and I cut the plastic case off that great big plug that carried all the USB connectors up to the front panel. So I cut that all off, and then that allowed me to bend the cable down, you know. Now, I still got 4 SATA plugs there in that plug, but it's getting so close. So I get that thing in, I try to plug it in, and I'm so close, man. Those back contacts, just if they could go down just a little bit more, I think we got it, man. It'll snap in place. It might squash those connectors a little bit, but it's going to do it. I'm thinking, okay, all right, if I stand on that card, this thing's on the floor. If I stand on that card and put all my weight on there, will that push that card down far enough it's going to lock in? Anyway, I was able to get it down in there, and it locked in. So, hey, that's good. Now, so I had to cut the latch off the door, the release part of the latch. It takes the side off. So I said, let's see if the cover will still go on. So I put the side panel on and flip it down, it snaps right in, man. But guess what? I'd already cut off the lock that unlocks it. So now the sucker snapped in, and in the side panel it won't unlock. Okay. So I'm prying on it. I got crowbars and screwdrivers. I'm prying on it, and finally I get that sucker open, you know. So then I disable the latch inside where it won't get latched anymore. So the new latch now will be duct tape. Okay, we got that settled. All right, so now we've got the software that we're running now, and we've tried a lot of different softwares. And all the problems I think we've had in the past has been because we were running a computer that didn't have high enough specs to really run things properly. So this software here is about $1,200, but instead of buying it outright, we decided let's just rent it, or pay monthly a subscription to it. So we get free upgrades and all that. So it's only $50 a month. So instead of paying $1,200, we're only paying $50 a month for the software. Now, that's good because free upgrades and heck, you know, we might not be around in 2 years. In 2 years, $50 a month, 2 years, that'd be $1,200. So yeah, it would pay for itself in 2 years, but we wouldn't be getting upgrades. We have to pay for upgrades. So that's kind of where we went. I'm going to show you what it looks like, kind of what we go through to do a show. And here is a here's what it looks like right here. So this is what it looks like. I don't have it loaded up a whole lot, but I got a number of camera shots in there. First of all, if you guys remember, I've got a great big 16 or 30 channel audio mixer here. We don't really need that mixer anymore because the mixer now is built in. And if you look over here on the right side of the picture, are you seeing my you're seeing my cursor? Yeah, you're seeing my cursor. So if you look here, here are all the mixers, and you can see I've got an audio mixer for every input, whether it be a camera or a microphone or whatever, or a video or anything. We've got mixers. There's the master mixer. You know, there's the songs we were playing. So I've got my own mixers here. These things they're amazing, the things they would do. Now over here you set up camera shots. You set up camera shots. For instance, if I click right here, if you follow the mouse down, I'm on the third picture below. Maybe you're seeing that. I don't know. If you find the mouse there, if I click on that, it'll be just a full picture of me. If I click here on the next one over, you know, it'll come in to be, you know, the three of us. And these are shots I have set up. Now, there's a lot of things to set these shots up. For instance, like in this shot right here, I'm gonna hit the settings button for this shot. And if I open the settings button, I think you see that. I have position. Now up here though, I've got main. This is in layers. Look at all the layers. This shot has a bunch of different layers. It's got a blank layer. It's got me as, I think, as a layer. It's got Glenn and Brett as a different layer. I've got, if I turn on things, let's see, I can't turn it on here, but you see I've got different layers. Where is he going? Where's he going? All right. So now, here's the layers right here. Here we go. Here are the layers. So for instance, if I want to turn Brett off, look, I go up here. I got Brett. I can uncheck this. Watch Brett. Oh, Brett went away. All right, but I can turn Brett back on, and I can get rid of Glenn if I want to, you know? All right, so there's Glenn. Now, if I want to run a lower third, I can put a lower third on there like that, or I can turn the lower third off. But all these things have to be set up, and they're different layers. So I've got like 7 layers set up on that one picture. Now, if I want to adjust anybody in here, I got to remember what layer they're on. The best way is to name them. I'm going to go up here to position now. If I go to position, then I've got to go up here to whatever, for instance, if I want to, there's Brett. I'm going to click on Brett. Now, if I click on Brett, I can adjust Brett. See, I can adjust Brett. All right, but that's because I clicked on Brett. But if I click on Glenn, then I can adjust Glenn right there. Okay, now, all right, so all that works. I can zoom, I can do cropping and stuff. You know, there's a lot. There's a lot of settings in general, whether the audio comes on, the audio don't come on or go off. You got your color key to set your chroma key up and so forth. There's a lot in here to do. And the interesting thing about it, you got to know, for instance, if I right-click on the setting there, I get this. But if I left-click on the settings, I get a different menu here. There are so many things you've got to remember to try to set this up. And if you notice over here, I can minimize some of the slots, some of the pictures here. If I right-click, I bring it back live. Where'd it go? It was number 9. Here it is right there. Or if I right-click on it again, I can make it small and you see it over here. Oh man. Now, I've got 4 presets I can put in here. For instance, watch the logo. I can turn the logo on and off just by hitting that button, because in position 1, I have the logo set up. I've got, look at here, I've got a lower third for me set up. I've got, let me turn it off. I've got a lower third set up for Brett. Got a lower third set up for Glenn. All right. Now, these are various different fade ins, whether you wipe it or cube zoom or whatever you're going to do, fade it in and out. This thing's got so much. Any camera shot or anything you want to set up, you go down here to the add input. You click on add input at the bottom. And here's things you can do. You can add videos, you can add cameras. Oh, NDI is what I use here to where I can bring, I've got 3 other laptops right now that I'm bringing into the desktop of them into the show. This thing will record, I think, 4 channels at one time. I can record 4 different people at one time on here. I can images, photos, PowerPoint. It has Zoom built in. I don't have to bring Zoom up. If I wanted to bring Zoom up, I could. But I'm not using Zoom anymore. I do video call, and this sets up a link, and people come directly into the show if I set up a call there. Lower thirds, I've got all kinds of stuff. There's tickers I can set up, titles. There's lower thirds that we can set up, like to go under a person's picture, their name and stuff. So that's just kind of a quick recap. So if it sounds like, if it looks like I'm not paying attention, if we have a guest on here and I'm not paying attention, it's because I'm trying to work all this stuff and line it up and select the right shots and control things while we have people in here. That's why I need an engineer or a production person or somebody that can do this. Of course, this is another camera I've got set up here. I've got this camera here just fastened to this boom mic right here. And you can see, here's the boom mic right here. And I've got that camera set up there. So, if I can run videos. If I click here, here's a video. Let's see.
Hey, Tom, I just wanted to let you know that when we get our mission to Mars going, I want to schedule you and your show to be the first to communicate with us in space. By the way, I never miss an episode of Amateur Radio Roundtable on Tuesdays nights on w5kub.com.
Okay. Well, guys, that is kind of a very quick recap of it. Just wanted to give you a little insight to what we do. We're coming up about time to shut the show down. I want to say thank you to everybody that joined us tonight. Guys, Brett, Glenn, anything else?
No, I'm good.
You good? All right.
Yeah.
All right, man.
I want popcorn.
Yep.
Yeah, I do too, I think.
Yep. And I'm going to start thinking about what to do for field day.
I'm thinking about going to the dentist.
Man.
I'm thinking about going to the dentist tomorrow.
Why?
He wants to do 2 crowns same day.
Ooh.
So I'm going to tell him I want the magic carpet ride. Turn the gas up
There you
as
go.
high as it will go, man. Yeah, man.
There you
All
go.
right. Good night to everybody out there. We glad you're with us tonight, and we'll see you next week.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
All right. Good night, everybody.